Oh, I missed a point before. Before my time in wrestling, I, from about 1980, occasionally, very occasionally, in the local, it's a city now. It used to be considered a town. A town in England has to have, a city in England has to have 1 million people in it. Otherwise, it's considered a town. Over here, it doesn't matter. But it's Wolverhampton, which was the nearest town that I wasn't born. But so anybody gets this right, because people say I moved to Blackpool when I was 16. I was going to Blackpool from being a child because it was a vacation resort. From 15, I was going there, and that's where my wrestling career pretty much, it didn't quite start there, but that's where it started from when I was 15. And I was going there every weekend and spending every weekend there until the end of the summer season of 1983. And that end of the summer season there is the first week of November. Then everything shuts down till Easter the following year. Easter the following year, I was still at school. I was leaving school in the May of 1984, because in England in those times, if you were working class, from a working class background, there was no chance of any further education. School finished at 16 and you went out and got a job because you needed to bring money into the house. It was not like, it's
Right.
just the way it was, right?
Right.
So that I went at Easter in 1984 and back to the promoter. And I said, look, I'm leaving school in a few months. He said, well, okay, you can be an apprentice here. And so I'd already been working for him the year before on a weekend, but I wasn't really, I was just a kid doing a few little things and a few little matches and working with another thing we'll get into in a different story, how I got there. But then I became his apprentice, as Robbie Brookside had been the apprentice at worldwide wrestling promotions of Blackpool, which covered the Fylde in the northwest of England, but it was worldwide. Um, so all these experiences got me here. Right. Oh, sorry. From being the local town that I was born near, Wolverhampton, where I used to go and watch wrestling every 2 weeks. And I used to see concerts and stuff because there was nothing where I lived. I lived in a little village. I started going into, as we call them, news agents, and you could get I saw the Rings Wrestling magazine.
Okay.
It
Right.
changed my world as a fan, because I knew British wrestling. Well, I knew what I knew of British wrestling, but there was nothing. There was no wrestling magazine. There was one wrestling magazine that came out. You could get programs from the companies that ran shows. They made a monthly program, but it was all about their wrestlers.
We
And then,
talking like Pro Wrestling Illustrated, stuff like that,
yes,
Inside Wrestling, all that
no,
stuff.
but the stuff that you could get in England, there was nothing like that,
Right.
except for one called, there used to be an old magazine called The Wrestler, but
Yeah,
it was,
yeah.
and I've got every copy of that through my